Let's walk through how to write a salary negotiation email with a standard template. And this is a template that I would recommend you use probably about 80% of the time. Most negotiations are perfectly captured with this template. There are edge cases 10 to 20% of the time where you won't necessarily use this particular template. And if you look below, I'll tell you how to get this template and a bunch of other templates that you can use for those edge cases and some other moments that you'll experience in your salary negotiation. So what we're going to do is walk through this template top to bottom. I'm going to go through every section and talk about why it's there and how you can use it. Everything here has a purpose. It may not seem like it necessarily, but I'll explain as we get to each section why it's there, what it's for, and how you can use it to give yourself the best possible chance of negotiating maximum compensation before you accept your job offer. So with that, let's get started. Okay, first things first. You can see that we're sending this to your recruiter. So this is probably your recruiter. The person who made you the offer is really who we're going for here. Most of the time, that will be the recruiter that you've been working with from the beginning. In some cases, you will have been handed off to what can sometimes be called a closing recruiter. This is the recruiter who actually extended the job offer to you, either in email or on a phone call or some other means. So you have a job offer. The person who extended you the job offer, that's who you're replying to here. Occasionally, you will copy someone if there's someone else who's been intimately involved in the process or was even on the phone when the offer was made, or if they were already carbon copied on the email chain that you're replying to, then you might include them. So most of the time, you're going to be able to just reply to the email that's already going. And so this subject is only useful if you need to start a new email. So if there's not an email, for example, there's a bunch of disparate emails that aren't necessarily related to each other or to this particular job offer. You've been kind of communicating maybe over IM or text with this particular recruiter. Then you might not have an email and you'll have to create a new one. And you can just use this subject line to get you started by filling in your own information. If there is already an email chain going, just reply to that email chain. You can usually reply just to the person who sent the offer. But again, if there are people who were involved that you feel like it's appropriate that they be copied in, then you can copy them in. So you're sending this probably to your recruiter who made you the offer. You're using this subject unless you can just reply to an email that's already going. And you're going to see right here at the top that what we're going to do is address the recruiter directly. And then there's kind of a warm greeting here. This is not a throwaway. This is one of those things I mentioned that might seem like it's a throwaway. There's use here. And really what we're doing is we're setting the tone for the email and we're letting the recruiter know that we're collaborating with them here. We're going to be aggressive, but we're also collaborating. We need them to be on our team. You both have the same objective here, believe it or not. You're both trying to close this deal. You want to start the job there at maximum compensation. They need to fill this role at a compensation that's within the budget that they're allowed or that they can get approved. And so you're on the same team and you want to emphasize that you're working with them here. You're not trying to create an adversarial relationship. This is a collaborative partnership. And so you're emphasizing that right away by saying, I hope you had a great weekend, or I hope you're having a great week so far, or whatever you might say, just to kind of make sure that it's a warm introduction. So then the next part here is getting into the actual negotiation. So you say, I've been considering your offer over the weekend and everything sounds good, although I would like to discuss and then the counter dimension that you're going to counter on. Most of the time, this will be base salary. Sometimes this will be total compensation or some other part of your comp package. But whatever you've decided is the right dimension or dimensions to counter on, this is where you'll mention it. I do recommend that you focus on a single dimension. This is something that I go into in great depth in my program, Salary Negotiation Mastery. And if you look below, I'll tell you more about how to get that program and how to get all the depth that I'm talking about here, where I go into how to make all of the decisions really for every component of this email, but also in particular which dimension you're going to counter on or dimensions and what sequence you'll focus on those dimensions in as you work through your negotiation. So to begin with, what you're doing here is you're setting up the negotiation. You're letting them know, I'm going to counteroffer. You've set the stage for a collaboration. You've said that you're going to counteroffer, and then you're going to get into where you're making your case and you're counteroffering. But first you want to let them know, I'm going to counteroffer. But first you want to tell them some more information. Okay, so here we have a paragraph that I call the Why I'm Awesome paragraph. This is your opportunity to make your case for the counteroffer that you're going to deliver later. So the first thing you're going to do is make your case. You're going to try to make this case really strong. And the purpose of this paragraph is actually many purposes kind of rolled up into one. So something you need to remember is that although you're emailing the recruiter who specifically made the offer to you, there may be other people in the approval chain who need to be persuaded that they should approve more compensation for you. And so what you're doing here is sort of indirectly communicating with those people when you need to. So a lot of times the recruiter will have to go get approval for what you ask for because it might be outside the bounds of what their official budget is, what they've already been approved for, pre-approved for. And so they're going to go talk to somebody else. And when they do, that person's going to say, okay, why should we give this person more money? And either the recruiter can kind of summarize what they think might be your qualifications based on what they've heard from the hiring manager or people that you interviewed with throughout the process, or you can write your own case. And that's why I call this the why I'm awesome paragraph. So you're telling them, here is why I'm awesome. Here are the reasons that I think that I should have more compensation than what you offered. And all of these things are focused on value that you bring to the team. See, what you'll notice is not here is market data or anything about your current compensation or anything like that. This is all value focused. It's focused on the value you're going to bring to the team as you help them to accomplish their goals, overcome their challenges, and become more valuable as a unit. And so again, in Salary Negotiation Mastery, I talked through this in a lot of detail, but what you really want to do is find 3 or 4 things that you feel like are exceptional things that you bring to the table that are unique for you filling this role. You want to describe what those things are, the things that you're good at specifically related to this role. And you also want to describe how those things are going to add specific value to this team, to the company, to their mission, whatever they're trying to accomplish. And that, if you can quantify it, that's great. But as long as you can describe, here's something that I'm good at, uniquely good at if possible, and here's how it's going to add value to the team that I'm joining. You want to do that 3 or 4 times in a paragraph format, and there you have the why I'm awesome paragraph. One thing you'll notice about this paragraph, it's really long. It almost feels kind of run-on sentencey. It's very dense and long. And the reason is that you actually want them to start reading this paragraph, get kind of bored halfway through it because they know you're going to counteroffer. So now they're wondering how much, what's it going to cost us, which is the mindset that you want to be in with them. And so they're going to read this, they're going to get kind of bored, and you want them to sort of scroll down to the next part and skip this part of the email and just take it for granted that, yes, this is a really valuable person. They're going to add a lot of value to our team. How much is it going to take? And now you're going to tell them what it is actually going to take. So you've spent a lot of energy writing the why I'm awesome paragraph. You've persuaded them that you're going to be a valuable asset to the team. They're wondering how much it's going to cost them, and now you're going to tell them. So you can see all of these qualities contribute directly to the core components of this particular position. You're sort of summarizing what you just said in the why I'm awesome paragraph, just kind of reminding them, I think I've made a pretty good case here. And that's why I'm excited for the opportunity to work with the name of the manager that you're going to be with and his team in this capacity at the company. So this is a transition from why I'm awesome to your counteroffer. And essentially what you're doing is making that smooth transition so it's not a super abrupt transition from why you're awesome to your counteroffer. You're sort of doing a segue here where you're saying, I told you why I'm awesome. Now let me tell you what it's going to cost. And finally, you're actually going to counteroffer. So you can see that you're saying you offered the offer amount. And this is, again, in the dimension that you're going to focus on in your counteroffer. And I'd be more comfortable if we could settle on counter amount. Again, this is going to be in the same dimension. So if this is total compensation to total compensation or base salary to base salary, and you say, I feel that amount reflects the importance and expectations of the position for company name's business and my qualifications and experience as they relate to this particular role. So now you've counteroffered. This is it. So you set them up with a warm intro. You said, hey, we're going to collaborate on this. You said, I'm going to counteroffer on this dimension. But first, let me tell you how awesome I am. You've made a really strong case that can be circulated internally by the approvers that need to see this to approve more budget for your specific compensation. And now you have counteroffered. And you've done it in a way, again, that is aggressive and collaborative. So you say, they offered something I'd be more comfortable if we could settle on. So you're not giving them an easy out saying, can we do that? Is it possible to do this? You're saying, this would make me more comfortable. And then even the way you end the email in the next paragraph here is, thanks for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. So you're leaving the ball fully in their court. This is designed to leave the loop open with the action item on them. So you're not asking them a question, can you do this or not? Because that's an easy yes, no question. You don't want them to say, no, we can't do it. You want to say, I'm more comfortable if we can do this. I look forward to hearing what you think. And then, of course, all the best, and you sign off with your name so that you let them know, we're still collaborating, we're partners here, we're going to get this done. And so if you use this template, this is the best way to counteroffer an offer that you've gotten. It's the best way to maximize your compensation, and it's the best way to mitigate all of the advantages that a recruiter might have in a real-time telephone conversation. And again, if you look down below, I'll tell you how to get this template So you can just copy it out of Google Docs and make your own version along with a bunch of other templates. And I'll also tell you about the Salary Negotiation Mastery Program, which is my program that walks you through the entire negotiation process start to finish, including how to write this email, how to get all of the inputs that you need here, and how to get the best possible compensation when you negotiate your job offer.